Welcome everyone to the Center for Healing podcast. I'm so excited to be here today with Valery. She is a dear friend. She's a multidisciplinary practitioner. She's a boy mom. She's a traveler. What else would you say you are?
Teacher of therapy, spirituality,
Yeah.
mentor for practitioners
Yes.
and advanced self-healers. I would
Yeah.
say boy mom is the top though,
Boy-
right?
Right now,
Surviving boy.
Yeah, you've got a baby and a young
Yeah.
child, boys.
Yeah.
So yeah,
8 and 1.
8 and 1. So you're
So-
right in the midst of it. Yeah.
Yes, that's the number one currently.
Yes. And yeah, like even for me as a friend and as a practitioner, you are just such a wise soul and you have so much wisdom to give the world. So I was so excited to give you this platform and share it with our followers as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you're the same to me.
Thank you.
You're such a wise and knowledgeable and loving and caring person. It's just so unique
Thank
and
you.
so wonderful to have a friend like that.
Thank you.
You're a true blessing. And thank you for inviting me.
Of course, I'm so excited, and I'm sure everyone that's listening, they're going to get so much out of we're just having a chat. We're just having a conversation today. So yeah, just pretend that you're sitting with us having coffee.
Yes.
When you're listening.
Because that's what we do basically almost every day. Those are our chats.
Yes, exactly.
So we're just recording one of them today.
And I know that we both get so much out of it anyway, like growth just from our normal chats, we go so deep, and really appreciate you. And talking about that, you brought me this beautiful candle, which I did unwrap earlier, but we didn't get it on the recording because I wasn't happy with the camera. But this beautiful
I was getting angry.
No. And it's really gorgeous. And it says friend. A friend is someone who understands your past, believes in your future, and accepts you today the way you are. So thank you. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you were saying you thought of me because that was one of my intentions, or what came through my soul for my intention for 2026. Yeah. And I know you've got some things to say about friendships, particularly at our age.
Yes. I just know that it's such a big thing. It's something that you brought up in a few of your recordings, your classes. And it has been a massive journey for me as well. I'm nowhere near figuring this thing out. I just acknowledging the fact that it's a big thing. It's a big theme for so many people. And I would say especially women, because men connect a lot easier. They can just connect over sports,
They do. Like Ryan's had the same friends from like primary school. They're still all friends, like same group. Obviously he didn't immigrate here, so it's easier for him. But I think also I ask him sometimes, like, how do you have your friendships for so long? Like I've left so many groups, like not only circumstantial and where I was living, but also on my healing journey. They just didn't resonate anymore. Like I couldn't have a conversation with the same people anymore.
And it's so weird that men don't get that a lot, right? They can.
Like, what are they talking about?
How to build something, an extension to your house, the new car that you got. I don't know. Like my partner doesn't do it, not into sports. He's not following anything. But he trains a lot. So that your new exercise routine, I don't like those things that I would see them as superficial. For a deep thinker. But it looks like it's not superficial for them, right? It's like it's a different type of connection. Over an action. And I definitely agree with you, and I feel the same way. Even before I started moving from country to country, I didn't have childhood friends. It's something that's beyond comprehension for me. How can you still stay connected to the same people when originally you connected only because you were in the same environment?
True.
It's not like you actually met.
Lucky. Exactly. And again, like when I started my healing journey, I was quite toxic, or I had a lot of coping mechanisms, and I wasn't like self-aware yet. So as soon as I became self-aware, all of a sudden I was like, not, I just all of a sudden didn't start talking to so many people that I thought were my friends. And I was like, oh, wait a second. It's like my shadow was friending them. They were like fulfilling something in that aspect. But now that I've been on this journey, now I can't have like surface level conversations, and I value friendship so much that, you know, like you can go deep, talk about real things. You know, sometimes, you know, you have little chit chat with people that you meet and you don't go deep straight away. I'm not saying you need to do that, but it's just different now, like how I find friendships. And I think when you have young children, the time that you have is limited as well. So it's like you've got to be, for me, I be extra picky about that, because I'm like, I want to spend time with my child, time on my business, time with friends. Are they like friends that are valuable to me, you know?
The business part is also such a huge one, right? Not just because it's another baby, but it requires work, it requires discipline, it requires time. And it brings new boundaries into your life. That's a huge one. And I think that this is probably one of the trickiest ones for practitioners, because if your business is selling shirts, you're a different person. It requires a different archetype of a person, right? But if naturally you're the healer type, you're somebody who wants to help and uplift other people, you're naturally usually starting your journey from a more of a people pleaser, weaker boundaries, and overgiver. And then, but you're not just a practitioner, you're also a business owner. And to be a business owner, you need really strict boundaries. But also when you move forward in life and in your practice, you actually need really strong boundaries to hold the energy or whatever you're channeling, or even if you don't work solely energetically, but even just to hold other people in their experiences. The vessel, like the person that holds that for them, you need a strong, resilient nervous system. You need strong boundaries. And that comes with boundaries on your time, your choices in life. You can't entertain everyone anymore.
No. And like I have that experience because I do have friends, like say the school mums, you know, and they just find it really weird that I don't drink, and they find it weird, you know, there's a lot of things they find weird, but I'm just so certain in it and I'm so confident in it that I'm like very honest. Like I have to be very, like I'm quite sensitive. I have to be careful with my energy, actually care about how I feel tomorrow, because I want to be at peak energetically to do work or healing or whatever. So it's not even like an argument with them. It's just like, yep, but
it is what it
is. This is just the way I am. This is how I protect my energy. And yeah, you do that, I think, when you start charging as well, because a lot of people come to you wanting it for free, or like you feel drained after certain situations. That kind of discerns who's putting their skin in the game when you're charging them, you know, for actual clients. So that happens too. And if you were not a healer and then you become a healer, also your closest family and friends might be used to the old avatar of who they are, who you are in their mind, and then that changes. And they're not happy with it, especially if they were getting something out of it. Because like you said, normally healers were the people pleasers, the empathetic people, the yes people. And they're not getting those benefits. Not saying those people are bad. It's like you trained them.
It's change.
You trained them that they could ask you for anything and you'll be there at a drop of a hat. But when that changes, it disrupts
the system.
And you just have to be ready for that. And being ready for that in a sense of your purpose and your vision and your goal and your mission, your soul mission and your physical purpose have to override all that, and you have to keep connecting with that. And that's how you become resilient and you keep going, and you don't listen to those voices that don't understand, even if they're close to you. And they'll get used to it. Eventually they'll work it out.
They don't have a choice. Can you elaborate a bit more about what you said, this transition from not charging at all and then charging? Because I don't have those experiences. I started straight away 15 years ago with charging.
I started as well. My first session, I charged $1,500. That's how I was just like, I'm charging.
Do tell.
Yeah, well, that is what, like, the training that I did, that's what they told us to do, that they would,
Mhm.
and they would get a 3-hour session and then one follow-up session for this amount. And I was like,
Mhm.
fine, I'll just do it. And I had no resistance to it. Whereas I know some people find it hard to charge $10 or $50
Yeah.
as well. And then even going from that to, I try to explain to my students, so those of you that are listening, root cause therapy and manifestation, it's like, then you have to think about, especially if you've had an hourly job, this is not an hourly job. This is like, yeah, this is like the value that they're getting from a session could be 100 talk therapy sessions. So you don't value it based on the hours that you work. It's not an hourly rate. It's what your nervous system feels comfortable with charging, whether that's be the start with $10 or starting with $1,000. Because if you don't feel comfortable in your nervous system, you're not going to post about it, tell anyone, or you won't send the invoice, you'll sabotage it. So do what works for you.
Mhm.
It's that balance of, like, your soul wants you to charge $1 million, but your body's like, no way. So it's like,
Oh, it's such a visceral experience, right?
yes.
And a somatic one.
Yeah. So I don't know, what was your experience with charging, or what is your experience?
I just thought of something that a friend of mine told me. She's a business coach and mentor. But she does high ticket clients, Nicole Rowan. And she told me, we had a conversation about charging, because when I just had my second baby, and I was thinking, how am I supposed to navigate this space when I can't give what I could give before? Because my energy is directed towards my child.
Yeah.
And she helped me reframe it. That first of all, when you have when you're in that phase of life, you're in your most creative. You created life. And then when you do offer something, people get your most precious, valuable time. When most moms will give it to their child, to their family. And if you're choosing to give that person that time, it's so precious, and they're getting you at your peak creativity, that you can charge as much as you want for it.
Yeah.
Because they're getting value that's so much bigger than usually.
Yeah.
And then she shared with me, when she was doing coaching sessions, when she had young kids, the way she would do it would be to find that place where it would be, how did she describe it? Where you would feel that it doesn't sabotage your relationship with your kids. So, for instance, if you feel comfortable with $500,
yeah, like, but is this worth my time away from my kid?
But also, it doesn't override. Like, if, for instance, right now somebody comes to you and says, I want a session with you for $50,000.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, that's a lot of money. My kid can wait an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you prioritize the client over your child.
Yes.
So that's basically, you figure out where that line crosses.
Yeah.
You understand what is that line for you, and then you add a tiny bit more just for you to get comfortable with it, because we usually undercharge.
Oh, yeah.
As healers, we always undercharge.
Yes.
So when you get that line, I don't think that it applies only to mothers. Yeah, it's always, when am I going to prioritize my client because they pay me so much that I would sabotage myself. I would neglect myself or my family or my partner or my child or my dog. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend. Where would I choose my client? Just because of money.
That's such a different way to think about it. And I think a lot of people, and I'd love your opinion on this. I have my own opinion on when people say that's too much, or why don't you do the healing for free? When we like offering our services, I think that's people's biggest fears. And one thing that I always thought was, you're not in charge of that person's financial situation.
Absolutely. As well as their opinion.
Yeah.
Because the context, it's all about the context and perspective.
Yeah. Just because they haven't learned how to make enough money to afford you, or just because they're not good at managing their finances, that's not your responsibility. And something
with that, I would definitely see it in a broader perspective that
Yeah.
some people actually are in situations when they don't have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about like different countries, different, like somebody in a war zone, for instance.
Yeah, I got you.
So it's not about always about whether they can or cannot. Sometimes people cannot, but it still doesn't change the fact that that's not who you're serving.
Yes, I really appreciate that because I come from a privileged upbringing. And being in
Again,
Australia,
right?
so I really appreciate your perspective because you have come from a war-torn country and you do have that life experience. Yeah, so I really appreciate that, and I'm sure the listeners do too.
Also, in the context of trauma, I would say that a lot of the times, you work with trauma a lot, so you know how it's like that. People, even though you have potential, it's not always that simple to break through and actually make that potential, fulfill that potential and make it come to life. Like, for instance, somebody with CPTSD that's so embedded and hard to grasp, it can take years for people to figure it out. And then it's like what you're saying is true. Absolutely. As well as people have stories that can be more complex. And if we don't see the whole story, it's really hard because sometimes we can't really put our finger on where is the problem actually. In themselves, it can be the same thing. So there are circumstances that affect a person's life experience. I also think, because I've been working with people's higher selves and souls for so long, that sometimes it's a chosen experience. Some people actually wanted to experience a certain existence.
Their soul?
As in their soul, or on one of their timelines. Some people came here. I don't know if you had those experiences when somebody comes to do healing for a chronic condition or or a disability, or I worked in a center where people died every now and then because they came there already in their final days. And sometimes you can, when I tap in, I can see that a person did sign up for that. They actually wanted the experience. And that's why some things are so tricky, because we have our human mind and then we have the bigger picture, whether it's the bigger picture in terms of a life story or whether it's on a soul level.
Yeah.
Some people are not, they actually do not want to be healed on a certain level, because their soul is growing and expanding so much.
Yeah, their soul's like, this is perfect. Yeah. Everything's going great. Like, this is exactly what we came for this time. And yeah, true.
Because it's not good or bad. It's like, it's such a unique experience, for instance, to experience a terminal illness or something horrible that happened. It's like, it's really problematic to talk about that without people feeling that you don't get them, that they're victims of situations.
Yeah, true.
But it's like people, it is tricky to talk about it, right?
Tricky. I think, well, from my lived experience perspective, and we have a thread of lived experience at the center, is especially if you looking at marketing and putting yourself out there, literally whatever you've gone through is your wisdom, and there is gold in it, and there are people that are waiting for that. And how you do your marketing or your niche, you are your niche. Literally what you went through, who you needed at that time, and what you've overcome, whatever that happens to be, is your gift to give to others. And you know how to speak to that person because you are that person. You know their issues and their problems and the way that they think because you've been there. And that's the most authentic way, is that you are the niche. Yeah.
You always are the niche. That's why that whole conversation of competition comes in, right? That is something, oh my God, I've been talking about it in the last few months.
Oh, really?
With so many people.
Yeah.
Because both of our clients are practitioners, right?
Yeah.
And I see so many mentors and coaches, practitioners that are more high level. They have this situation when they come across competition or people copying their things, and that experience that is just always there. And I find that it's such a non-beneficial programming, because when you understand that you are your own niche,
like no one else has your energetic signature.
it's impossible. Yeah, of course, it's a different situation when somebody trains other people in their own modality or their own work, because there is something that can be stolen or copied, or
I've sent out some cease and desist, but more to protect the name and the integrity of it.
Yeah,
not as a competitive like money thing, because I know they're not going to make as much. Like I know it's my thing. When it's your thing, it's your thing, you know.
But there's no problem with that.
Yeah,
these things, that's boundaries.
Yeah,
Integrity and boundaries are important.
Yes.
And it's, again, there are so many things when it comes to therapy, when it comes to the healing space or spirituality, when people tend to see it as you have to be really overgiving and flaccid and like,
no, we have to have anger. I had a friend that's like, I don't feel anger, and I'm like, I'm very worried about you. She's like, I have a liver issue. I'm like, of course you do, because you don't get tucked in there.
What is anger eventually? Yeah, anger is your indicator that you're not happy with something and you want change.
And it is energetically, it gives you momentum to take the change, make the change, action it.
That's your burst.
Yeah, it's great.
Of adrenaline.
You don't have to be violent about it, but you can use it to make change.
It's not meant only for, violence is one of the expressions of outburst of energy.
I think there's always a shadow and like a constructive way to express emotions, you know, in every emotion. But if we're like really integrated, embodied healers, we should be owning all of our shadows and all of our parts. Otherwise, then it can secretly take over and we can be passive aggressive. But all of the elements are there. So we need to like own it and be like, yes, sometimes like I wear a suit, but I'm a healer as well. Like I'm all the things. I'm a mother. I'm like, I can get angry. I can be a bitch, right? I can be really nice and empathetic and being like self-aware. Yes.
A whole human.
Yes.
What are you doing healing for? What is healing for you eventually, if not to integrate your parts and become a whole human?
Yeah.
It's not to wear linen and crystals, right? That's not the purpose of doing healing. Oh, so from now on, I will never dye my hair. I will never wear jewelry, and I will sit in the dirt and cover myself in mud to connect to earth because I'm a healer. No, that's a persona.
Yes.
Yeah. Or whichever, it can be the Sedona persona. It doesn't matter what the persona is.
Yeah, that's good.
Sedona persona. Right? Oh.
Yeah.
Great market. But the whole point is like you want to be you. You want to be fully you.
Yeah.
You heal because something is there to block your ability to be fully you. You're gaining that momentum, you're starting the process and then collapse it. Which is, as you and probably all the other practitioners listening, or anyone who did any work on trauma and healing, you know how in the first years of our life, or even when it comes in utero or ancestral, basically those patterns are created by something stopping a process, right? So we have a process, a developmental process, or something that's happening. There's energy going in a certain direction. And then something that is trauma, right?
Yeah,
that
shocks
creates
us too much.
Yeah, we can't handle, it's too much, and it stops that process. And then we end up in this loop constantly. Instead of finalizing a cycle, we go half and then it collapses, half collapses.
But that's also why we can have parents that haven't actually emotionally matured past 4 years old.
Yes, and they are still stuck in that. Which is so, that can be 5 podcasts on its own. Because, right? Like, parents are such a tricky thing.
Like, we're parents too. So
we're parents too, and we understand how it's like, right?
Yes.
And I see how we are responsible as parents. We create all of these things. So there's the aspect of parents create traumas in us as well as the good stuff.
Yeah.
There's the layer of we chose our parents. And there's the layer of stop blaming your parents. You're your own individual. You're not 5 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're human
It's
beings.
all
They're
of
doing
it.
what they can.
Yeah.
They're working with what they got.
Yeah.
Each person on earth, I believe, they actually feel like whatever they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, that aren't self-aware.
Even if they're not self-aware, in their mind, they're doing the right thing. So
Yeah.
think about it. If right now you are somebody who's really not self-aware, you're operating from trauma, you're completely neglecting your child, and you're choosing to go and do something, I don't know, commit some crime. In your head, you're just not even aware of the child, right? You're saying, I'm about to die, I need to get food, or you're like in this overtaken by rage or whatever you want, revenge, and all of your, you justify it in your head, right? There's an explanation for it. I don't think that there's anyone on earth at any given moment that says, oh, I know what's the right thing to do, but I will fuck it up anyway.
Yeah. I'm just going to put a plug in here, even though it's your podcast, that we have a trauma-aware parenting course. So I'll chuck it in the link below.
So important. So important.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's like, so yeah, so many people like sending their kids, there's something wrong with my kids, but often it's like there's a whole soup and dynamic of like the family nervous system. So we go into all that there. But in speaking about a plug, you have a certification coming up and we'd love to know, because of all your wisdom and all your experiences. Like, tell us a little bit about that, about how it all came together and then what it is for the listeners.
Well, as you know, usually when I do something, when it comes together, it takes like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But there's years behind it, years of work behind it.
Yeah.
So as a practitioner, I've done a lot. I've been doing body work, many different types of it, movement rehab, working with fascia, working with the nervous system, working with the mind,
How many years
working with
ago did
energy.
you start? Just so that we...
14, 15, something like that.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
I don't even remember when it was that I actually started, but I started with remedial massage. Then I had a private teacher, like somebody who I followed. I had my own mentor for body work, rehab, and all of that. And he was an osteopath. It was overseas. And he taught me so much.
Osteopaths are actually amazing if you get the right one.
Osteopathy in general is amazing.
It is.
And I just find it was one of the things that made me realize how messed up it is, that the healing, the alternative or holistic healing, how people in the modern world compartmentalize it, because things like osteopathy, homeopathy, and a few others, they are all inclusive and really give you, they look at everything, all the layers of the human being.
Yeah. That's what being holistic is. Looking at the whole.
Yes. And then it became normalized.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of, if you look at osteopathy, for instance, in Australia, I think an osteopath, I think, is considered a doctor, or is it just a chiropractor?
Chiropractor is a doctor. I don't think.
And osteos are not.
Yeah.
And then in Australia, they focus mainly on a lot of them, not all of them. Of course, there are those who do craniosacral and stuff, but it's mainly they work similar to PTs and physios. A lot of them, or myofascial work. And then in the States, osteopaths are doctors that can also prescribe drugs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's so different. And every country took a different thing. Some people do the structural, some people.
Yeah.
And then if you actually read Dr. Steele's books, the one who came up with osteopathy and brought things together, in his case studies and stories, you would see that in some cases he would come to, there was a story when he came to a student that was dying, and he started his session with talking to his soul and asking, do you even want to live?
Wow.
Because it's disrespectful to override that.
Yeah.
I think that story, when I heard it from my mentor, that basically explains so much of what I do today. That was embedded in my head so deeply that every technique and every modality that I learned since that day, it just resonated with me so much. everything went through that lens.
So that's why, like, because being trauma informed, you give them, but more importantly, and what so many people miss is agency to their soul.
Yes. It's the
Agency,
sovereignty and agency
yes.
and free will and free choice
Yes.
of each human being on each and individual level.
Yes.
So that was basically the main thing that led me to question everything that I've studied, whether in body work, in trauma work, in everything. It led me to kind of learn different ways to listen to each of my clients or students deeper.
Yeah.
To understand, even if on a surface level they say something, they can say, yes, I came here for a session, this hurts, do something with it, and they give you their arm, like, as in, touch me, you have the permission to touch me.
Yeah.
But then if you are attuned to the deeper levels, you can see that actually they are lacking boundaries due to trauma, and they are just over trusting, but actually they want to protect themselves. And in sessions like these, I found myself a lot of the time sitting on the other side of the room, or even opening the door and going even further until I can feel that their energetic body is comfortable with where I'm at.
Is that what you would call they have resistance, unconscious resistance, or not?
That's not resistance. That's a really, it's like a frightened animal that's trying to preserve itself when their free will was broken so many times that they don't know how to say, no, don't come any closer. But their energy can.
And you can see, I guess, from a nervous system aspect that it's like a freeze, a fawn, like a mixture.
You can see the pattern of the nervous system. I see that these things so interconnected because the energetic body needs an antenna to communicate with you, and the nervous system, the central nervous system, is the antenna. So I don't actually know how to properly separate nervous system from energetics.
It's the same.
It's the same. It's just different density of the same thing. And those types of understandings, the things that we know, that led me to create this container, this course that I'm doing right now for this year. It's called The Holistic Human. To explain those connections. And then it has three parts to it. One is the theory and the applied part of how do you actually work around that. And with that, how do you respect your client and yourself? How do you see the connection between the systems? Then that would be the practice part of things. The other part would be self-mastery. How do you work on these things within yourself? Because as we said, if the vessel, if the container is not, like, you would always match your clients and your clients would match you. Where you're at, this is what you're getting. You get a constant mirror. But it's not only in terms of, you can evaluate your business that way, but you can also evaluate your results, the tangible results of your sessions. Who are the people that are coming? What are their problems? And how fast and accurate you get results. So there's that part of things. You want to master yourself. You're working with the nervous system a lot. So you know how it's like, if your nervous system cannot hold somebody, if you're not a good container for them, they cannot actually do the healing process properly. Regardless of what this modality is, right? It doesn't matter. Your nervous system should be able to hold them.
You have to be, I like to explain it like you are a container, and your container needs to be big enough and safe enough so they can overflow into it.
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. Because everything you're in life in general, right? Whenever you want to be operating from a place where you have so much to give that it overflows to other people in such an abundant way. Your love, your attention, your care, your focus, your intention, your attention, all of it, you should have this really safe and rich world within.
But that comes all the way back to what we were saying at the start about being very careful about your energy. It's an energetic game, and you have to like make sure your energetic hygiene, your game is really tight if you're holding space for others on such a deep level. It's a very deep
and level. You know how it sounds like a big thing sometimes, like it's
Yeah.
hard work, or you have to be super, super particular. I think usually when you begin, or if you have a bigger history of trauma,
Yeah.
it can feel like a lot of work.
Mm.
But then when you refine it, it's just second nature. You don't actually stop and think, oh no, I should probably reevaluate that person. It's like, it's so natural. You can
Yeah.
feel something feels off. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You change, you adapt your life
Yeah.
to what you're creating, and then there's just no room for anything that wastes your time.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, there's that part, which is the self-mastery. So we have the practitioner mastery, self-mastery, and the third is the intuition mastery. Because we need to learn, now that we refined the tool, what do we do with it? How can we actually feel other people? How can we attune to another person, whether it's for us or because we're practitioners and it's for our clients? We want to be able to use that to understand where the person is at. Because in my eyes, there's nothing more trauma informed than actually feeling where the person is at and respecting them. Because that is the safety, that is the container. It can be this, even we're sitting and chatting right now.
Yeah.
What if I would have said like that?
Yeah. I don't know.
And you're a projector. You don't like people in your space. Yeah. And I can feel them. Yeah. What if I would have said like that the whole time?
Yeah.
You wouldn't feel
I'll be
comfortable,
like,
right?
yeah, it'll come out on the delivery of
You'll probably kick me at some point, right? So, but people do that. Our clients,
Yeah.
they also do that. And the problem in a clinical setting, even if it's a holistic practice, that
Well, it's any modality you're talking
any
about,
modality,
any practitioner,
any
this is so
practitioner,
important.
that there's hierarchy. They
Yeah.
came to you, you're the professional. They came to you for help. So there's even implied hierarchy.
Yeah.
So they will not feel comfortable to actually kick you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a situation where a person came for help, but actually their boundaries are being overridden, but they can't fight back because you know what you're doing, right? You're the professional.
Yeah. And that's where, I think some people don't realize that, and they can, take advantage of people, or it's like we actually have to be really responsible in the roles that we're in.
Yeah. It's a whole next level of responsibility. And I think it's just, for a lot of healers, the blessing is that they started off again as empaths and hypersensitive people.
But they just have to learn how to use that correctly, so they're not absorbing the emotions.
Yeah.
They're feeling it to help the client process them themselves.
It's a super tool.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful gift. You can use that to read another person in order to help them.
Well, let's go back to why people become empaths. And a lot of us became healers because we grew up not feeling safe and always having to scan our environment for how our caretakers were feeling and adjust ourselves accordingly as a survival mechanism, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of empathetic people become healers because of that lived experience. Also, they have that gift that helped them to survive. But now the way that you teach people is to use it even in a more precise way that is like helpful and not degenerative to them. Because I know a lot of healers, they end up becoming really sick, burnt out, all of those things if they don't learn these like energetic hygiene, I like to call it.
Energetic hygiene, of course. It's such an important thing. I have an interesting one for you.
Oh, tell.
You know how for a lot of my clients and students, one of the main things that we do, basically in my sessions, it doesn't matter if we start from a physical pain, emotional issue, or being lost and stuck in life. Eventually you get like we reverse engineer all the blocks, go back to your original blueprint, and then forward into what you're creating. And for a lot of people, practitioners that couldn't figure out why their business is not picking up, why they studied this modality and it's not happening, or something in a different aspect of life, with finances, with relationships, something is not happening in the right way. When we reverse engineered these things and looked at their original blueprint, we realized that actually they were never meant to be healers. And because for a lot of people, it begins with those traumas of enmeshment, of being, hyper attuned to a caregiver. It actually creates those cover-ups to your real true persona that actually you are trying to fight be in that over-giving, people pleasing, I'm trying to heal the world. You're still living your healer because you're living your trauma.
If you heal other people feel better, then you'll feel better.
Yeah.
But you did that as like a way to emotionally support the household for you to survive
as a child.
But you're not meant to do it for work.
No.
Yeah.
But actually your gift and your purpose is you're meant to be a CEO of this company.
Yeah, wow.
You're really good as a manager. You're really good. I can even say just about myself that I understand that my pattern, my blueprint, what I do is I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm a researcher teacher. So it's like I'm meant to be doing all these sessions because I'm learning patterns from them.
Yes.
And I'm very good at delivering it in a very clear, understandable way and help people understand what they're meant to be doing. I'm not teaching modalities. I'm helping people refine themselves.
Yes.
So I have that vision. So I understand that even if what I do is really beneficial and good, that is not my way to build my life on one-on-one sessions.
Yeah.
Because that's not who I am.
I wonder, I'll stop you there because I just wonder, when you said that earlier, I wonder how many people listening or watching had a sigh of relief. They've been banging their heads against the wall trying to be a healer for years and it's not working. Not that they're not good healers or people. It's just that's not what you were meant to be doing. So I can imagine some people just going, oh, thank you, Valery.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because it must be so tiring to constantly try and it's not working.
Yeah.
But it can be the opposite. It can be that there are still blocks that you need to work through. I'm assuming that your manifestation course, because I've heard parts of your manifestation approach, that would be incredible to break so many blocks there. We just always have to keep refining that attunement to ourselves and our intuition, to realize, to always come back to what is true for us at this moment. Because maybe you are meant to be doing 10 years of helping others heal just to gain certain knowledge, certain skills, and then change and go and I don't know, run retreats or I don't know, maybe do something completely different. Maybe it will take you to, do you know how many wonderful people there are in industries that support healers? For instance, people that deeply understand what it means to do this work, and then they're building websites, they're branding, they are assisting you as in HR or all of these supporting 100%. Businesses.
There always needs to be a healer in every corporation, I think. Some good vibes. But also, like what you were saying too, is like that reconnection with your higher self, whether it is a CEO, whether it is a parent, anything, anywhere. I am a huge advocate of like listening to your higher self, your inner guidance, learning how to do that and making decisions from that. That in itself changes your whole life for the better, no matter what you're doing. Honestly,
I'm just smiling because you're the best person at it. You live it. I don't know, because people usually see you on your courses, right? Your courses and the podcast. But we speak almost every day. Yes. You are the embodiment of it.
I'm trusting. I'm so trusting.
Yes.
I'm like, it should hopefully work out. I mean, it is to a degree. I'm like, higher self, I'm trusting you. Like every decision I'm asking you. And I actually went to a group session and I didn't tell them that I make every decision for my higher self. But I just wanted to get their perspective and be like, do you think that even though we're incarnated as a human, and I know that, when we make decisions from our body, it's not always correct because our body's an animal, always in survival mode often. Do you think we need to make every decision from our higher self? I was like trying to argue with them because I was like getting tired. And they're like, yes, absolutely. Like, that's the whole point, that's the whole point of the embodiment and remembering who you are, because that is actually who you are, and I was like, all right, I'll keep going.
Okay.
I'll keep going.
you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you on that one. That's a really, really cool one to explore. With higher self, and then you have the human you and nervous system.
Yeah.
How do you separate the voice of your higher self? Actually, it can be a lot more elaborated. How do you separate intuition from instinct, from trauma response? I call it the pain body.
Mm.
That's the term that I got from my current mentor, Jason Fox.
Yeah.
And I
Eckhart
really,
totally.
because there are so many aspects of us, right? Especially in IFF, they talk about it a lot, about the parts.
Yeah.
And you can see that us as a human being,
Mm.
we are we're a collective, right? We're a collective of our psyche, our mental, our emotional, our physical, our higher self, our the spirit team, ancestral lineage, DNA.
Oh my God, so
how do you know? How do you know?
It's like literally a muscle, and sometimes it's not right, but it's literally a muscle and it changes. So years ago, my intuition was audible. And then it changed to a feeling, and then now it's a visual, and it's just depending what work I've done, what the influences are, but it changes. The reason how I know it is because I just keep getting so much evidence, even if it doesn't make logical sense. And that's how
Evidence.
Yeah, that's how. And the difference between intuition is wisdom of your past experiences. But if you're expanding and creating something new, you only know what you've done. And you've only created what you've created. And for new things, you have to tap into your soul, because it can see way further.
It's so beautiful because it's true.
And it doesn't override your nervous system, and it's not about spiritually disconnecting from your body. Sometimes it forces me into my body. Like, no, you have to go through this circumstance. You have to feel it all. I'm like, okay, like, and I have a massive emotional body,
right?
Yeah,
the activation,
but when you resist, it's integrated, because I'm like, okay, like my soul's saying I've got to work with this, or like this circumstance has come up externally, it triggered the hell out of me, but I'm going to honor that and stay with it. I'm not letting it affect my decisions though. And I check with my soul, like, should I cut that person off or not, or should I fight with them or not, or should I talk to them or not? And it's just like, just be with yourself for a bit. Wait,
not to be reactive.
Process.
Yes, not to be reactive.
Yeah, create space in your life so you can feel the feelings and not take action. I think a lot of people, they feel something, they think something, and they're like, oh, I need to jump on that and take action. Where really, like, it's an old trigger, old experience of recreation. If you want to make your life different, then you have to do something different.
Do you think that people know how to distinguish? Because I know for me it's such a clear difference, and I'm sure that for you as well. You know how it feels when you're reactive, respond versus react. It feels different, right?
Yeah.
Your body feels different. Can you explain that? Can you explain?
Well, there's always like a space, there's a pause. Reaction is like you don't allow for that space and that pause of that a moment of self-awareness. Because again, our bodies are animals, so an animal will react. If you put a dog in the corner and start hitting it, it will react, right? That's what our body will do.
It's just so cool because we have this animal body,
yes,
right? But then we have this consciousness that's definitely not animal.
No. And it's fun, like having a body is great. You can have pleasure, eat beautiful food. Like, I don't want to demonize that or say it's bad.
It's incredible. That's why we're here, no? The physical body is the only tool we have for manifestation in the physical, tangible reality.
Yeah.
So to demonize that which is happening so much in the New Age spirituality, right?
Yeah.
Everything that's human is bad because you're supposed to transcend.
No.
That it's like that's the goal, to to transcend the human form. Like,
no, we're meant to go into it more deeply.
yeah, you
It's the
go
other
out
way.
from within, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you actually have to
We're meant to
master
be pulling
it.
the soul into the body more, creating space in the body for that.
Yeah, and integrate the fragmentation
Yeah.
of our psyche, of our consciousness, all of these parts. That's how we expand, no?
Yeah.
If we integrate it and then we become that one whole, because the whole is bigger than its part.
Mm. And you know, right now, like everyone's all into this nervous system regulation and capacity and all of that, which is great. Like essentially, that's what healing work always was, is expanding your capacity for your peace and your soul to come back into your body.
Yeah.
And it's like our body is this pipe and there's all these blocks and generational trauma and stress in our body. It can't come in. And when you're really stressed, that's when you disconnect your, like you were saying, our nervous system, which I teach in the manifesting, which I love, that you have exactly the same thought process, is our antenna. You know, and it goes, when we're too stressed, it's fuzzy. When it's dysregulated, it's fuzzy, and we can't hear our intuition, you know. So that's like, you know, people have been so like, oh, it's changed my life, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, because you can finally connect with your soul, like essentially.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
And how important it is to have teachers and practitioners to help people with that. But we all know, you know, like you do so much work on yourself, me as well. And yet I can still recognize we just become more self-aware.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're perfect. We're just more
No.
self-aware. So we're aware of our shit as well. And I'm so aware of the fact that I have so many blind spots of my own. So instead of, it's like people sometimes think that you'll do all this healing work and then you don't need anyone else, anyone external. We see more practitioners than our clients, right? And I cannot imagine doing life without a mentor. I have a mentor, I have teachers constantly.
You need people to see your blind spots.
Yeah. And bring them up and help you integrate.
Yeah.
Because it's like that basically the more self-aware you are, the more you understand that first of all, you cannot see all of who you are by yourself. Personally, I believe that it's by design. I think that because we are a human collective, especially now in this day and age when individualism is so idolized, I think it's just a point in history when it makes sense because the pendulum always swings. So we went from the complete opposite to idolizing being an individual and separation from community, which I think it's a horrible extreme, but it's sort of natural for society to go through that. In this, it's just so important to remember that still each and every one of us is a piece of a whole, and we are connected to that grid, to that matrix of everyone. There's collective consciousness. And I lost my trail of thought. No, well, I want to say two things. Please, so I'm glad that you've lost it, because I'm like, when can I jump in here? I was looking at it visually. Say, please say. Well, there's two things. Well, I'm just going to like loop back to friendships. Yeah. Right. And projecting as well. So friendships, the most toxic people are the ones that have no self-awareness, or the ones that like, oh, I'm all positive and love and light. And there's no awareness of their negativity or behaviors. They can often be the most toxic people that will project onto you. And I want to say with the self-awareness again, projecting onto people and judging people is the portal way to healing. Because when something's irritating you in someone else, it's often reflecting back something that you haven't owned in yourself, or something that is not resolved, or something that's playing out in your shadow that you're not aware of. And it's like such a gift if you, like you just said, it's just a tweak of self-awareness. Then your life becomes this beautiful journey of healing, like your whole life, if you're more open to that. What a beautiful point. It's so important. Yeah. It's so tricky with friends, right? Because a lot of the times, because we don't know how to deal with so many things, we would just either cut friendships straight away because people don't know how to communicate. Yeah. And also people don't know how to, they don't have that awareness. They don't know how to self-evaluate or how to take criticism. So for me, for instance, it's a really important thing when I have a really close relationship with someone, with a friend, that they would trust me enough to know that they can come and say, I did not like when you did that.
Yeah.
Because of this and that.
Yeah.
And instead of just disappearing, that they can come and talk to me about it and trust me, even if it triggers me, that I will be able to say, that's how I feel right now. Give me some time, or maybe not, or just, to actually sit with it, be aware of it, and resolve it.
Yeah.
Or if sometimes, of course, as different people, there are things that we might not agree on, but to respect the differences and to respect the willingness to work through things and not just either leave or accept quietly, because that in my eyes, that's a betrayal of friendship as
100%. Or speaking behind your back. It's like when you're a kid, if there's a conflict going on and it's not explained to you what the conflict's about, you assume it's about you, or you make assumptions they're talking about you. And I think we can still have that experience. I think I was even talking to Ryan the other week. I was like, no one's given me any criticism or feedback for a while. Like, I got really upset. But like,
you expected feedback, right?
Yeah, I need feedback. I'm like, why is no one criticizing me? I'm like sus on everyone, I was having that.
They're hiding stuff from me.
Yeah, they're saying stuff behind my back because no one's like saying something to me directly. But also, I think, the deeper you are willing to go, because I never saw healthy conflict going up. I never had this like example of that. So that's something I've had to learn. And I realized, the deeper you're willing to go in these conversations and have healthy conflict, the deeper the relationship will be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why both of us are so aware of it and focus on it a lot in relationships. Because I can easily tell you that I might be able to solve someone's problem, their entire life's problem, in a session in 10 minutes, but I suck at this life stuff still. I'm learning how to do relationships still.
Yeah.
And I don't always know how to do it properly.
Yeah.
So it's more the awareness of it, right? The awareness, understanding, and willingness.
Yeah.
Willingness to give it the time to work through things together. Yeah, it's such a huge thing. Huh?
Yeah, that's so beautiful. All right, well, we're gonna start wrapping it up. I know we can talk for like all day for a while. But tell the listeners like what any last details about the course, also where they can find you, social media, website. We'll obviously put the links in the show notes below if you want to click on it, but still tell them in case they're just listening the rest of the course and where they can find you.
So the course is the Holistic Human, and it's a closed, exclusive container where we'll be doing a lot of work throughout this entire year. So you can join till the 30th, because on the 31st, Mel is coming to teach.
Yes, I will be a guest teacher, which I'm very, very excited about. Yes.
Yeah, so the container will be held by me, but we have guest experts. Mel is the first one. And till the 30th, you can join. As I said, we're going to be talking about self-mastery, intuition mastery, and practice mastery. And basically all of these principles of what it actually means to view a human in a holistic way. So deepen your skills, deepen your self-understanding, practice your own mastery. In terms of generally where to find me, I've been called Valery Alignment for so long that it became my business name. I would never choose that to be a business name, but people started calling me Valery Alignment years ago. So that's how you find me. Instagram is Valery with a Y, Valery.alignment. My website is valeryalignment.au. And that's where I usually live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's where you can find her. Please reach out if you feel like, you've been a practitioner maybe for many years, but you want to go deeper. You want to learn that connection with your clients, to do it in a really respectful way, and all the other amazing wisdoms and teachings that you have. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That was so special. That's, you know, this is our first like on the couch together without Zoom. And it was just so lovely to do it with you. So thank you
Sunny
so
day.
much.
We got some sun especially for this moment.
Yes.
Huh?
Great lighting.
Incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.